You're watching Hard Facts with me, Toya Singh. Our first story is one that you've heard about umpteen times. The terrifying air quality in the NCR region that 2 days post Diwali today remains in the very poor and the severe category in most parts of the city. Now, researchers have estimated that people in Delhi lose close to 12 years because of the air that we're breathing. We know the issue. As residents, we've grown all too familiar with the dense smog, the headaches, the water in our eyes, the respiratory issues that come with all of this. But over the last 2 weeks, as the air quality plummeted once again, we've also watched that familiar, almost ritualistic passing of the buck. Aam Aadmi Party blaming the centre, the BJP blaming the Aam Aadmi Party. Today, on Hard Facts, we have politicians, we also have with us policy experts. We know this is a complex problem. It speaks to agricultural issues, policy issues, economic issues, and of course, environmental issues. But as residents of the region's lives hang in limbo, and as millions who can't stay indoors, the lesser privileged of us, tackle the air every single day, we want to understand what is the government's long-term plan, why does this remain a yearly failure, and could an airshed approach, we'll tell you what that is later, could that possibly be the answer? It'll require the coordination of Delhi and the regions around it. Could that be the golden answer? Let's get to our big debate. Is seasonal politics hampering solutions? Let's take a look.
ना तो इंडिया गेट दिख रहा, ना पार्लियामेंट वाले दोनों बिल्डिंग नजर आ रही हैं।
सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को देखो इसमें इंटरवेंशन करना चाहिए। ब्लेम चलता रहता है कि पंजाब में पराली जल रही है, तो इसका सोल्यूशन, परमानेंट सोल्यूशन निकालना चाहिए इनको।
इसके जिम्मेदार हम लोग खुद ही काफ़ी लोग हैं। अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने देखो क्रैकर्स के लिए, आतिशबाजी के लिए बैन लगाया था, लेकिन हम लोग मान के राजी नहीं थे।
एक नेता ने कहा कि भाई कि पंजाब में पराली जल रही है, तो इसलिए दिल्ली में पटाखे फोड़ने की इजाजत तो नहीं मिल जाती किसी को। भाई जो भी पोल्यूशन के सोर्स है उसे कम करने की हम सबकी जिम्मेदारी है। भाजपा भी 3 सरकारों में है, तो इसलिए कि पराली जल रही है पंजाब में, इसलिए पटाखे आपने फोड़े। इसका क्या तर्क है?
फायर क्रैकर्स नहीं, पंजाब की पराली लगातार जलती जा रही है। 2 दिन में 2600 से ज्यादा घटनाएं पंजाब की पराली की जलने की हुई है। इस सीजन में 26,000 से ज्यादा हो चुकी है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 2 बार वार्निंग दी है आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार को पंजाब में। ये वो लोग हैं जो पंजाब की पराली को मुख्य कारण बताते थे पूरे प्रदूषण का।
Hello, Moto.
Okay. To take this story further, we have with us first politicians. We're then also going to understand from policy experts, environmentalists, what they have to say on this entire issue. We're going to try to understand what the way forward is right here on the show. This evening, joining us, we have Shazia Ilmi. She's a national spokesperson of the BJP. We have Anjali Rai. She's a spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us here on CNN News 18. Ma'am, I just want to tell our audiences, we've seen this play out over the last few days, that passing of the buck or the blame game, whatever you want to call it, taking place, where we see one party hold the other responsible. What this effectively means, though, for residents of Delhi, and I'm sure you live in Delhi, I'm sure you're aware of this, it means effectively that there is no solution. I just want to ask you, Ms. Rai, I want to come to you first. Ms. Ilmi, I'll come to you in just a second. Ms. Rai, I want to come to you first. Ms. Rai, I'll take our audiences through what it's been like to anchor these debates over the last few weeks. In the beginning, you heard the familiar fight about stubble burning taking place. You had the Aam Aadmi Party saying it's a number of states that are responsible. You can't just point a finger to Punjab. At the same time, ma'am, unfortunately, the data does show that most stubble fires were emitting from Punjab. There I do want to tell our audiences that in defense of the Aam Aadmi Party, numbers show that the stubble burning that is taking place per year, that is declining. So there are positive signs there, but at the same time, this is too big a problem. Environmentalist after environmentalist, now even the Supreme Court has said it's from there that the solution needs to start. Ms. Rai, what does the Aam Aadmi Party have to say for themselves? Before they came into power in Punjab, we've heard what they had to say. They said we'd fix this. They are in power now. Ma'am, enough isn't happening.
Actually, you have rightly said there are multiple reasons for this pollution. And we are working on all the different issues. And you must acknowledge few facts that on Diwali day, the air quality was the best this year since last 8 years. For the first time in Delhi, the people of Delhi experienced more than 200 clean air days in last 8 years. And the average PM 2.5 level has reduced by 25%. Poor to severe air quality days have decreased by 42.10%. And I must tell you that Delhi government has taken a lot of steps, innovative steps they have taken. I proudly want to say that in Delhi, 17% of vehicles are now electrical vehicles. And with the largest fleet of 800 buses, we are leading the whole country. No other state has such a number of electric buses. And 74% of industries, about 1,800 in number, have shifted to the clean fuel PNG. Green cover has increased from 20% to 23.06%. With 24/7 supply of electricity, diesel usage has been totally banned. On the other hand, I agree Punjab is also contributing to the pollution because of stubble burning. But as you rightly said, it has decreased by 50 to 67% pollution due to stubble burning in Punjab. But unfortunately, Haryana, which is closer to Delhi, the stubble burning which happens in Punjab is about 500 kilometers away, but in Haryana it is about 100 kilometers away, like in Sonipat, Rohtak, Panipat, and they are doing nothing. They have not taken any step like.
Ma'am, but one sec. Let me just come in. I'm not going to cut you off. I will allow you to continue speaking, but I do want to come in every time you are making a point. For example, that Punjab-Haryana comparison you've given, these past weeks, when Punjab was recording its highest numbers, on a certain Sunday, you had 1,300 plus farm fires taking place in the state of Punjab. The numbers in Haryana, ma'am, just were not comparable. You were looking at less than 500 cases. In examples like that, ma'am, it really does feel like the Aam Aadmi Party is reaching for straws.
Listen, you are comparing only 1 week's number, but we are comparing in total. In total, it has definitely decreased by 50 to 67%. Other innovative measures are also being taken in Punjab, like they are building dumping grounds in Bathinda. They have already constructed 9 dumping grounds, while Haryana has done nothing. In Delhi, we have increased our green cover to 23%, more than 23%, but they have only 3% of green cover in Haryana. And we have 800 electric buses. But they are even now just contemplating on buying 100 electric buses.
Ms. Rai, I don't want to take away from the work that the Aam Aadmi Party has done. What the Aam Aadmi Party has done, and even in the last few years, what we've seen Delhi do as a city, there is no doubt that there are 5 different measures happening at the same time. It is incredible. But ma'am, I do need to ask you, even the Supreme Court in the last few days has said stubble burning in Punjab needs to stop. Are we going to see a firm foot put down by the Punjab government?
Yes, give us some time. We'll definitely do whatever we can do, but we need to take all the farmers along, and then we will definitely do some more. We'll take some more steps, stop or lessen at least the stubble burning in Punjab. But you know, हवा पे किसी का जोर नहीं है. हवा तो कहीं की भी होगी, वो उसे आप रोक नहीं सकते. So center has to intervene, and the joint effort is needed, and Haryana will have to definitely do something. And I must,
Okay, ma'am, I'll just ask you, Ms. Ilmi, I'll also ask you to wait for a second. I do want to go over to the esteemed environmentalists. We have actually 2 guests who've just joined us as you were speaking. Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, the former additional director of the Central Pollution Control Board, is with us. Bharti Chaturvedi, an environmentalist, is also with us. So I'll go over to Ms. Chaturvedi just for a second. Ms. Chaturvedi, it's actually interesting. The Aam Aadmi Party's Ms. Rai raised a very interesting point. She talked about the fact that air can't be controlled. It travels from state to state. One of the solutions, if you really take a deep look at this issue, one of the solutions we hear environmentalists bring up again and again is a approach that actually talks about all the regions around Delhi together. It's the airshed approach, essentially. Can you tell our audiences, do you think that's a viable solution? What would that actually look like for Delhi, for example, where the states around Delhi are all ruled by different governments? What do you think is the answer?
Well, of course, we have to have an airshed approach. And I think we're seeing that by Aam Aadmi Party being in both Punjab and Delhi, we were hoping for some of this airshed approach to, be politically viable. But there's still a lot of gaps. Acknowledging our electric fleet, of course, but I really think we need a whole different kind of cooperation here, because I think at many levels, while we have this electric fleet, we have 5 trees being burned, being cut down every single hour in Delhi. That's what the RTI data is showing. That's what activists like Bhavreen Khandari are putting out. That's what we're reading. So we have to solve this thing in a very different way. Now, looking at airsheds, I think we also have to look at the kind of money that's coming in. The 15th Finance Commission put some money out for certain cities for air pollution, and we're finding that that also has to be converted into an airshed approach. So, for example, by not letting in, app-based taxis from other states into Delhi, that's not an airshed solution. What is to come up with a protocol and establish it in Gurgaon, in Faridabad, in Ghaziabad, in Delhi, and that would help. But I think we're not able to work together, and I think there's a political gap there, and I feel really bad that Aam Aadmi Party is not taking enough leadership, because so many of our children and so many of our elderly, so many of our own friends are being discovered with cancers and sicknesses. So I think as citizens, I think we're really being wronged, and I wish, forget everything else, if we just worked on Punjab and Delhi, we would be better, and I'm hoping that happens.
Okay, Ms. Chaturvedi, I'll ask you to stay with us. You've raised the issue of children. I also want to draw our audience's attention to the fact that the thousands who are on the roads who can't afford to go inside, can't use air purifiers, what happens to them? We're going to go over right now to Shazia Ilmi. She's from the BJP. She's with us right now. Ma'am, if I could ask you to respond to the Aam Aadmi's points, then I'll take more specific questions to you. Do go ahead.
So I think I heard in great detail what the spokesperson from Aam Aadmi was trying to say, and I said this is exactly what is wrong with the way things are done in India, and how we allow such falsehood and deceit to prevail. Now, while she quotes a percentage of farm fires of stubble farming burning coming down, she's not talking about the fact that there was an early harvest this year. So if you see apples to apples figures, she will realize that there was a difference in the drop all over Punjab, Haryana and Delhi and Rajasthan, because there was an early harvest and stubble burning happened earlier. So those days might see a lesser number in terms of percentage compared to last year. But the fact of the matter is that the Supreme Court itself says this, it's just not me, but that 93% of stubble farming is happening in Punjab. That is the primary cause. Vehicular pollution is 17% as a contributor or a pollutant. Where that is concerned, the odd even formula has only led to a 13% decline of that 17%. So, I mean, she's way off her figures, and and let me tell you, it is not so complicated. I want to tell you also as an anchor, and I want to tell others, it is not so complicated. The easiest thing to say is, oh, all politicians are like that, there is a lack of political will. There are very clear areas. There are states, there are state environment ministries, there are state pollution boards and a central pollution board. So it's very clear the jurisdiction of various agencies are amply clear. So let's not be nonsensical about it and muddy the waters by saying, oh, what can we do? Give us some more time. It is the same Arvind Kejriwal who used to say, look at what Captain Amrinder of the then Congress party doing now. Well, they have been in power there. And now the Supreme Court has said that you have been totally ineffective. Please don't indulge in this blame game. You have an environment minister, you have a government in power there, you have a government in power here in Delhi, and an environment minister. And if you look at cases of stubble burning in one day, let's say 24,000, I can tell you 3 days back, out of 24,000, only, I mean, if you look at the figures, most of the cases and to 80 to 90% are coming in from Punjab. And
Right.
and when you look at Haryana, the figures are so low, and Rajasthan.
Okay.
So it's all very easy to say that, you know, all governments are responsible, we should all. The fact is, and this is where Supreme Court has wrapped the knuckles of Aam Aadmi Party government and said, what on earth
And
are
they
you
did
doing?
also wrap
Look
the
at
knuckles
smoke
though
towers,
of, they did
what has
also wrap the
happened.
knuckles of the other governments in the area around Delhi.
No,
So
they
for
did not.
example, yeah, they did,
No, if
ma'am.
you re-
They
yeah,
did call
they
out
did,
Haryana,
but
for example.
yeah, I read the entire you know, judgment, and I know how they talked, wrapped the knuckles of Rajasthan and UP, but they spoke mainly about Punjab specifically, and they told Aam Aadmi Party clearly they don't indulge in the blame game. Tell us what, in fact, use police to control stubble farming in Punjab. These are very clear orders by the Supreme Court.
Okay, ma'am,
If you
just
read
stay
the
with us for a
judgment, you'll
second.
know
If
in
you
what-
stay
what
with
is
us
the
for a second,
weightage
I'll
given
just come
to.
back to you. I do want to go over right now to our last guest who's with us right now. Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, a former additional director for the Central Pollution Control Board, is also with us. So I want to ask you, when we were speaking earlier to Bharti Chaturvedi, the environmentalist who remains with us right now, we talked about the responsibility, the airshed of sorts that we've talked about, the responsibility of regions around Delhi and what a long-term solution to this looks like. So I'd like you to weigh in here. First, if you could just tell us, in your expertise, what does a long-term solution look like? An open question to you, sir, then we'll come to you with more questions.
Yeah, actually, you see, the central government and the state governments are doing the long-term solutions. But basically, due to two reasons mainly in this season, due to the firecracker, the first thing, which gives the peaks of air pollution. Second is the stubble burning. So these two peaks are there. Otherwise, the pollution is always there in the whole year, throughout the year. And there, because of the inversion, more inversion, there the pollutants are dispersion taking place. So now there is no dispersion, and that is why we are facing the problem. Now this challenge we have to take up very seriously. We should not play the blame game. And I think the Supreme Court already asked the firecrackers to not to burn more. I think 10 p.m. and also
Okay, I think we've lost our connection for a second there with the director. We'll try to re-establish our connection with the director. As we wait for him, we'll go back to Bharti Chaturvedi, the environmentalist who's with us right now. Bharti, can you tell us, because I do want to take this question to the two political representatives who we have with us right now. Can you first tell us, ma'am, what does an airshed solution look like? Because we talked about it right now. We're talking about the coordination that is required between states. What does that actually mean on the ground?
The airshed solution would look like this. We don't, firstly, we don't start blaming Haryana and saying we did this and Haryana didn't. In fact, we should be sharing data. If firecrackers were banned, everyone should have put their hands together and said, what kind of behavior change are we going to do? I would have liked to see, at least as a resident of Delhi and someone who has a little sense of Punjab, but not as much as Delhi, I would have liked to see more leadership talking to us about why we should do it, instead of making it a boring campaign, and sharing those ideas across. I think even if we began with UP and Haryana doing something, with each other, and if Punjab and Delhi were able to make that little bridge, it would really help. But that's not happened. And when I say bridge, I would say, okay, how do you control construction? What are we doing about something as simple as looking at putting money into, say, biomass, because we are underestimating, and iForest has fabulous new data, which is a think tank, looking at how terrible some of these other causes are, which we forget. So it's very important to be able to say, how should we roll out something that is helpful for the citizens? These are our ideas. This is our outreach. Let's do it together. And even though I know not everybody can work with each other, I would have hoped that around Diwali, around construction, around biomass, these would be three things in which Punjab and Delhi actually have a lot of synergy, because there's a lot of construction also in Punjab. It's changing its character. And I would look at perhaps Delhi buying some of these other crops, including millets, for our midday meal scheme, because the Aam Aadmi Party actually has talks about its education plan with a lot of pride. So I would think that why not, cross enable each other and create those markets, make our kids more nutritious while cutting down air pollution and in fact helping them breathe clean air. So these are the kinds of cross-cutting things I would expect. Of course, I would have expected by now fabulous monitoring across Punjab. I know fabulous monitoring is happening in UP. And I would expect something like this, because what you can measure, you can also act on more decisively.
Okay, thank you, Bharti. I'll go back to Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal. He has now been connected with us. Mr. Agarwal, you were also telling us about what a unified airshed approach could look like. Sir, since you have been the Director of Central Pollution Control Board, the additional director rather, I do want to ask you, sir, can you speak to this point of coordination between states, between regions? In your experience, how high did you find it? Did you find that there were lapses there?
Actually, you see, there is an NCAP program, National Clean Air Quality Program, and all the states are supposed to follow that. And we have an implementing agency, monitoring agency, and some more kind of committee is there. So these basically three kinds of committees are there. So they are looking after that this particular problem. Especially for Punjab, I would say that Punjab has to take seriously. It is not a matter of it is basically a matter of life and death, because so many people are this particular season, so many people are dying only because of this reason. So we should stop it, and we should take a long approach, airshed approach, where the pollutants can travel, madam, as Madam Chaturvedi told right now. Pollutants can travel from Punjab to Delhi. There is no argument. There should not be any argument. And we have agreed, we have a lot of evidence on that. So first thing is that. Second thing, I think whatever the burning is there, that should be immediately stopped. That should be, I think, now completely banned. Still you can see the pictures. I don't know, I have seen even in the field when I was there quite a.
Okay, we've lost our connection. I'm going to wait. I'm going to go back to both of our political panelists right now. Ms. Rai, I just want to ask you, each of the experts we've had with us, of course, Ms. Ilmi also from the BJP, but the environmentalist who we had with us, who is still with us, each of our experts have said the issue is largely Delhi and Punjab. We are talking about other states, but it is Delhi and Punjab that we are talking about. Ma'am, I do want to ask you 2 or 3 questions for you. Question number 1, ma'am, what has the Aam Aadmi Party done for the thousands and thousands who are on the streets right now in Delhi, who can't afford air purifiers, who can't be in rooms? What is the Aam Aadmi Party's plan for them first?
See, we have done our best. As you earlier said, that there should be a unified effort from all the states, from all the parties and all the people. And Ilmi was saying that we are expert in playing the blame game. But I want to tell you, I want to draw your attention towards the irresponsible behavior of BJP spokesperson and their party. Supreme Court banned the burning of firecrackers, but their spokesperson Kapil Mishra tweeted on Diwali night at 9:50 p.m, "Proud of you, Delhi. These are voices of resistance, voices of freedom and democracy. People are bravely defying unscientific, illogical, dictatorial ban. Happy Diwali." And their spokesperson Tajinder Bagga, what did he say? He said that I will distribute firecrackers worth 1.5 lakh. The selling of firecrackers, not distributing the crackers. So these sort of behavior from such parties, what can you expect, and what type?
Please don't give us these lectures, ma'am.
What type of support you can expect from these people?
Okay, Ms. Rai, I'll ask Ms. Ilmi to respond. I'll ask Ms. Ilmi to respond, then we'll come back to you.
Everything.
Yes, I want to. Yeah, I want to just come in and say that earlier the spokesperson from Aam Aadmi Party also quoted a figure and said that the best day has been the day of Diwali, and I just want to tell her it is no thanks to your efforts but because of rainfall, barish. That's what led to the clean day, clean air day. And second thing that you were talking about, the farm, the stubble having come down. Let me tell you and reiterate what Supreme Court has said. Not you, not I, nor anyone else. And we're constantly making it about coordination, cooperation and these homilies and banalities and platitudes, you cannot escape the fact that you have not been able to stop stubble farming in Punjab, which is a basic contributor. One, no, you're not, it's not good enough. And you lie to the people of Punjab when you are coming to power, that when we come to power, we will fix it. What did you say just now? You said, give us more time. What did Kejriwal say 2 years back? Give me 1 year. What has happened? 2 years have elapsed. So you go on and on with the same, and you keep bringing in Haryana, when the fact of the matter is, there is 93% and there is 3%. There cannot be any comparison.
Miss Ilmi, Miss Rai, 1 second.
Don't keep speaking over me.
1 second, all right, let's go. I just want to ask Miss Rai 1 second. Miss Ilmi, I'll come back to you. I am going to give you a chance to speak properly without interruptions coming in, because I do think it's important that you be given that chance. Miss Rai, I do want to ask you, though Miss Ilmi raised an important point. What does the Aam Aadmi Party envision as a timeline for this, ma'am? Give us numbers here. What does the Aam Aadmi Party think is going to be the amount of time this is going to take?
We expect that we should be doing best. Like, we are trying our best, but we can't give a definite date. That it
do
will,
some stuttering and stammering now.
And then, yes, of course. Listen, it must be a joint effort, and the central government should lead this effort. Only then the fruitful results are going to come. Only Aam Aadmi Party.
Ma'am, we'll go to the BJP. We will go to the BJP after this to speak about the coordinated effort. We'll do that. But Ms. Rai, first do tell me about the Aam Aadmi Party's own responsibility. 2 states. And it's, ma'am, I do want to point out the 2 panelists who are pointing out to Delhi and Punjab again and again. They're not BJP spokespeople, ma'am. They're both saying again and again it's Delhi and Punjab that need to take responsibility, ma'am.
You just tell me, which is the state which has taken, any other state which has taken steps like Delhi government has taken.
I'm not applauding, ma'am, I'm not applauding the steps that the Aam Aadmi Party is taking.
But at least we are trying our best. Do you know the name of this Environment Minister of Haryana or UP? Have you ever
You want to applaud? You want us to applaud instead of fixing and telling you what your responsibility should be? Isn't it rather shameless and rich of you to seek appreciation for this poor air quality?
Please let me speak.
I mean, it's really rich of you.
Yes.
And rather brazen and completely irresponsible and shameless to expect applause from the poor anchor.
Miss Ilmi, I do want to ask you to wait 1 second. Let's go over to Anjali Rai. Ma'am, we don't have too much time. I do want to try to get an answer from both of you. Miss Rai, do give us a more specific timeline. You said it was impossible in an environmental story to give a timeline. I don't think that's true. We've seen numbers come in from every environmental organization we've spoken to. What is a realistic picture? When do Delhiites get to breathe, ma'am?
Unless and until all the states cooperate, it will be very difficult to set any deadline or give you a definite time.
1 second, ma'am. Let me ask you a more specific question, ma'am. The issue of stubble burning in Punjab, that is something. Does the Punjab government think it is something that they can put an end to, ma'am? I know that this is a deeply complex issue that has to do with farmers' lives, but still, ma'am, tell us.
Yes. It is a complex issue, and then it needs a lot of time. We have to convince farmers to shift from paddy cultivation, and that yes, it will take some time. And we are doing our best, and you will have to give us time. This is not like a magic we can do in a day.
Ma'am, I understand that the Aam Aadmi Party needs to be given time, ma'am. I'm just asking how much time. I'm trying to ask you, when will Delhiites, because it's going to take a few years. It's a ripple effect that will take time. What we're talking about right now is encouraging thousands of farmers across the state, millions maybe, to plant in different patterns. That is something that will take time, ma'am. I'm asking you how much time.
That depends on their attitude. Farmers' attitude, and then again and again I will tell you, all the states will have to do a coordinated effort, joint effort, and the center will have to take the lead. As I said earlier,
so why I have a suggestion. No, I think this is. I think we should be given equal.
Haryana? What have you done in UP?
No, you are nobody to ask. Why don't you? Then a very simple thing.
We are doing.
Miss Rai, let me come to you. Miss Rai, let me come to you with one more follow-up question over here. We're talking about stubble burning. We're talking about farmers, and in Punjab, we know that these issues are something that are very, very emotive. So we understand that here. But I do want to ask you, ma'am, when it comes to farmers seeing punishment on the ground, stubble burning issues again and again. Your party seems to have been hesitant to fully pursue criminal charges. And again, these are poor farmers we're talking about. So I can understand to some degree that hesitancy, ma'am. But isn't there the need for your political leaders to come on the ground to do larger cultural conversations like the environmentalist who's with us, Bharti, was pointing out? Isn't there a need right now, ma'am, for much, much more from the Aam Aadmi Party's leaders?
Yes, of course. I admit that more efforts are needed by us also, and from the center also. I'll again and again say I'm not shying away from our responsibility. We know that it is our responsibility. Please don't laugh. I haven't cracked any joke. I haven't cracked any joke. Please don't laugh like I don't want
that's
to say.
all you do.
So, please, Shazia, I don't expect this from you.
Go ahead.
I want to say again and again, I want to repeat that we are not shying away from our responsibility. It is a very, very serious problem. But all of us will have to stop this blame game and will have to start doing joint efforts. Center will have to take the lead because only Delhi, only Punjab, no.
But ma'am,
Haryana,
again,
Punjab,
let me just
Delhi.
point out. Sorry, let me just point out one last time, because then I do need to go over to our other guests. Both the representative we have, the environmentalists we have, also the additional director from the CPCP, they've all pointed out it is largely Delhi and Punjab. Again and again, you're making this more states. We've seen the numbers, ma'am. It is primarily Delhi and Punjab.
You see, it's not easy. Already farmers are in stress. 30 farmers commit suicide every day, and these people, BJP has done nothing for them. They have written off such a huge
One second, this is an issue that your party had said they could take care of when they came into power in Punjab. This is a conversation that has been going on for years, ma'am.
Yes, we will take, but you will have to give us time. It's not an easy job. They are poor people.
Of course.
How much time?
All right, let's go over right now to Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, the former additional director of the Central Pollution for Control Board. Miss Ilmi, I will let you talk. I'm just going over to the additional director because his hand was up. Sir, do go ahead.
Already, you see, the central government is working very hard since very beginning. When I was in CPCB, we have given a lot of time, even 2019, that now it is almost 5 years. And a lot of money has been flowed for taking care about the Parali. So I think that it is a state government to implement it. Enforcement is in the hand of a state government.
Okay, let's go over
That's
right
what
now.
I want to say.
Let's go over to Ms. Ilmi. Sir, thank you for coming in and bringing us your voice. Do stay with us. I want to go over to Shazia Ilmi. Ms. Ilmi, please respond to everything the Aam Aadmi Party said. I also want to ask you a question, Ms. Ilmi. Through this debate over the last few minutes, we've talked again and again about interstate coordination. Now, when we've talked about that, the main point has been, look, it's only Delhi and Punjab we're talking about. But if we do raise the question of states like Uttar Pradesh, the question of states like Haryana, do you think if the Aam Aadmi Party were to state it as openly that, look, we need interstate coordination for an airshed approach, we need all the regions around Delhi to be on board, will the BJP ruled states, would they be on board, ma'am?
Yes, of course, Rajasthan, which is Congress ruled, UP, which is BJP ruled, Haryana, which is BJP ruled, and Punjab, which is AAP ruled, and Delhi, which is AAP ruled, should be in coordination. But here we're talking specifically about a source of pollution, a grave threat to our well-being, which is the stubble farm burning, which is 93% contribution of which is coming from the state of Punjab. And the enforcement of the same laws that are there for all of the country have to be done by and implemented by the state government. So there is no issue because of lack of coordination between states here. This is what is the story or narrative being given a spin, seems like to us the way it's being presented. It is only to run away and obfuscate from the responsibility, which is totally the responsibility and mandate of elected governments of both Delhi and Punjab to implement. Haryana government must do its bit to ensure that even whatever farm stubble burning incidents are there, that are curbed. Rajasthan government must do it. But when you look at what happens year after year, during harvest time and the stubble burning, and what that leads to and what that means to Delhi and all the states surrounding it, we need to look at the bigger culprits. You looking at vehicular pollution, its contribution is 17%. But here we're looking at stubble farming, and out of all the stubble farming incidents, it is Punjab that is where it's the maximum fires. And we hear very clearly, you asked and you tried so hard to get an answer, a moment of responsibility, from our friend from Aam Aadmi Party. She kept saying we need more time, and every time they just don't want to take any responsibility, duck responsibility, and just blame others.
Okay.
And when you ask again and again, how much time would you need? There is nothing. They said we need more time.
Right.
What can poor farmers do? So they're still in that mode of seeing farmers as maybe a vote bank or whatever, but they don't realize the grievous harm that they cause to their own and to all the states nearby.
Okay.
And I think that is something they should be
called
out on.
I just want to take our last minute right now. I want to go back to Anjali Rai. Ma'am, I just need to ask you here, 2022, 6,180 violators fined in all the examples of stubble burning. That's all the action you saw the Punjab government take. Ma'am, I just want to understand from you, right now, citizens in Delhi, our lives hang in limbo. We don't know if the odd even scheme is going to be coming into place or not. We heard that Ubers from other states were not going to be allowed inside Delhi. We don't know what happened there. Ma'am, being a Delhi citizen right now, and I'm a privileged person, we're all privileged, we have a roof over our heads, we get to be around air purifiers. Ma'am, it's very confusing right now. What is the Aam Aadmi Party's plan? I'll ask you once again, ma'am. We're going to end with you, so ma'am, do give us something to end with, please.
Listen, we are really worried about this rising pollution, and we are very sad to see that a few days back it was the air quality was improving, and suddenly after Diwali it has worsened. And we will do our best to do whatever we can. We have really taken up many innovative steps, but I think they are not enough, and we need to do more, and we will definitely do more. And talking about coordination, like Shazia was saying that we will coordinate with all the states, will coordinate with Delhi. But I want to tell you that Gopal Rai ji, the Environment Minister of Delhi, he seeked appointment from Haryana Environment Minister several times, but he refused to meet him.
Right, we know that, ma'am. We know that, ma'am.
This way, nothing is going to happen. We all will have to. Please don't make it a political issue. This is a problem in which all the people, whether he is a BJP person, whether he is a Congress person, whether he is an Aam Aadmi Party person, everybody is suffering.
Again is BJP.
Yes, of course.
Again it's about, no, it's not everybody. No.
You will
do not hide. Do not hide in these broad generalizations. Do not hide. You are hiding under this cover.
You are not ready.
It will not work. You will have to take responsibility.
It means that you
have an environment minister in both the states. You should resign. The environment minister should say.
We've not reached any answers. I'd like to thank each of our guests for joining us this evening for the first half of our show. Up next, we're going to be keeping our focus on bringing you the hard facts with our next story. We're taking a look at what's taking place as we speak in Uttarkashi right now. A tunnel collapse that has led to 40 workers as we speak who remain trapped. Tonight is going to be their third night trapped within that tunnel. Was this avoidable? Were there environmental red flags? This is what we're going to look to understand. We have experts joining us to take a deeper look at this story. We'll see you in just a few minutes right here.
Hello, Moto.
Light spells of rains had engulfed the national capital, which meant that the AQI had come down significantly and was hovering in the poor category. Now, post Diwali, we are seeing that the AQI has again deteriorated. Currently, I am reporting from Kartavya and just move to the frame and try and show you in the visuals over here that another layer of smog has yet again engulfed the national capital. But remember, this is not only smog, but what experts are saying that there is element of fog that is also in these visuals that you are seeing on your screens right now. So yes, the AQI has deteriorated after after Diwali, but remember the AQI was already in the severe category at least 2 to 3 days ago, and today as well the AQI is still hovering within the very poor to poor category, but yet it is still very difficult for people to breathe out here. Remember the manner in which the Supreme Court orders of not bursting any sort of crackers was flouted yesterday. There were several cases that were seen out here in the national capital where this order of the Supreme Court of not bursting any sort of cracker was definitely flouted. In fact, the fire department itself had got more than 100 calls till 10 p.m. itself. So it actually shows that the people of the national capital, in fact, the majority of the people of the national capital were actually not bursting crackers, but yes, there was a significant number who were seen flouting these norms and bursting crackers, because of which we are seeing that the AQI has yet again deteriorated out here in the national capital and is yet again in the very poor category. Now today, the prediction from the IMD is that once the sun is out, the wind speeds are likely to pick up and these pollutants would yet again be washed away. And that is the only silver lining for the people out here in the national capital. But remember, over the next few days as well, the AQI is likely to remain in the poor to very poor category, and in fact is likely to deteriorate yet again in the severe category as well because of the wind directions. Now what remains to be seen is to what new plans can the Delhi government and the Delhi administration make sure that they initially make, and make sure that is implemented on the ground to the T, so that some sort of immediate relief can be provided to the people out here in the national capital who have been suffering from this deteriorating air quality for at least the last 10 days. Currently, I am reporting from the pollution hotspot out here in the national capital, that is the Anand Vihar bus terminal, and if I could just show you in the visuals around here, the visibility is not as bad as it was expected. The AQI out here in the national capital remains to be in the very poor category, although the measures of GRAP 4 has been implemented, but yes, the manner in which the order of the Supreme Court of not bursting crackers was flouted by several people out here in the national capital, that has made sure that the AQI deteriorates yet again. But if you compare the
Welcome back. You're watching Hard Facts right here on CNN News 18. We're taking you now to a story that is very importantly right in focus, as it should be. As we speak, 60 hours have gone by since 40 workers remain trapped in an under-construction tunnel in Uttarkashi in Uttarakhand. This incident took place on Diwali morning, 5:30 a.m. A portion of the tunnel collapsed suddenly, leaving the 40 workers who were on a 12-hour shift behind layers of debris and rubble trapped in the darkness. Now, these are workers from across the country, coming in from Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Bihar, West Bengal, Assam. Their families, as we speak, are awaiting anxiously for each update as they prepare for a third night underground. For now, we've been told that the workers have received food, water and oxygen. What little food can be transported to them through air compression. We're also being told that this wait, our wait, is going to be a long one. Experts say this is a process that could take a day more, 2 days more, because the process of removing debris right now is proving to be a deeply challenging one. It's replete with issues. Now, tonight on the show, as we pray for the safe rescue of these 40 workers, it's our duty to ask, why did this incident happen in the first place? Was there a lack of precautions for these workers? Or where experts are saying that the construction of a tunnel in the first place in this region, that was the issue. Is that what is to blame? When it comes to a tunnel, it's usually one of three problems that leads to a collapse. Either geological issues, construction issues, or groundwater penetration of some kind that's taking place. Now, as we speak, it's important to tell you, and as we enter this discussion, it's important to tell you that a government committee is investigating this. But experts are saying, as we've already told you, that even in the beginning of this project, environmental red flags were loud and clear. The entire region is full of mountainous soft rock. Far more precaution needed to be taken when this was happening. Now, we know that the workers on the ground were themselves apprehensive about the structure's strength. Interviews after this incident has happened to various media organizations point to that. Tonight on Hard Facts, we're connecting with experts to understand, to get down to the truth. Were red flags ignored? Take a look. This is the story.
A
lot of family members, a lot of people are still waiting to get the first glance of the people who are still stuck inside, basically fighting the battle against time. What remains to be seen now as to how quickly can this entire saga actually come to an end, because the main focus of the rescuing team and the rescuers at this point in time is to make sure that all these people who are stuck inside are brought out safely at the earliest.
परेशान मत हो गया, बहुत लोग बात कर रहे बचाने खातिर, आराम से निकल जीवो, कोनो चिंता की बात नहीं है।
मैंने बात की है, जो श्रमिक भाई अंदर हैं उनके पारिवारिक जनों से भी बात हुई है, सभी वहाँ पर कुशल हैं और जो ह्यूम पाइप इत्यादि हैं टेक्निकल टीम उसको असेंबल्ड करने में लग गई है और जो भी समय लगेगा जल्दी से जल्दी जो है उनकी कुशलता से बाहर आ जाएं, इसी काम में हम सब लोग लगे हुए हैं।
Okay, first an update on the rescue process as it's continuing. The drilling operation has not started yet. Final preparations as we speak to start the process are underway. At around 10 p.m. is the time. It's hoped that the drilling process will start. What does that mean? Where in the entire process are we right now? We have a colleague joining us from the ground. Anshul Singh has been in Uttarkashi for the last 24 hours. He's been bringing us report after report of the situation. Let's go over to Anshul to understand more. Anshul, can you tell us first, can you just start our show by telling us, start our debate by telling us where in the rescue process are we? The attempts that were made today, what do the engineers who were involved in the process have to say about that? What are their hopes for tomorrow and for tonight? Tonight, is there a temporary pause?
So yes, as of now, there is absolutely no pause that the rescuers are taking at this point in time. Remember, the first plan of action that was put in place, that actually failed miserably, in which the rescuers actually tried to remove the debris from the very location where the incident had happened. And as soon as they were removing the debris, new debris used to fall on that place, and hence very little headway was made in this direction for at least 24 to 36 hours. Post that this new plan was devised, in which it was prepared that a tunnel would be built inside, where pipes would be sent inside after drilling, and from that the laborers would eventually crawl out. Now remember, the debris is at least 50 meters in length, approximately 150 to 160 feet, 60 feet in length. So it is going to take a lot of time for them to actually drill through, put a pipe in, and then make sure that these people, the lives that are stuck inside, they are brought out. The job of bringing them out is of the NDRF, but yes, engineers and experienced people from all across the country are now on ground zero, working round the clock just to make sure that the entire process of drilling this hole that they want to and putting in this pipe is done in the best of the manner, so that no untoward situation happens, because this is yet again, this is another plan that has been put in place. Will this plan work? That is still a big question mark. Now, if everything goes according to the plan of the rescuers, then what sources have confirmed to CNN News 18 that it is going to take somewhere around 38 to 50 hours, depending upon the terrain of the debris. If at all the debris just has small stones and just sand, then it is going to take approximately 35 to 38 hours. But if at all there are big boulders, big stones that are stuck in between the debris, then it is going to take some extra time to actually cut through that stones, and then yet again build this entire route through which the rescuers can be relieved. But yes, the only silver lining, especially for the rescuers in this entire point, is that all the people who are stuck inside are actually safe. There is no immediate threat to their lives, because continuously we are seeing that food, medicines, water and oxygen is being supplied. Also, at the location at which these people are stuck, there is a cavity of at least 2 kilometers, which means that they are not stuck in a very confined area. They can easily move around, and hence a continuous conversation is also happening with them. Just the people are trying to make sure that they stay safe and they feel confident that yes, people are coming to get them out. So yes, the next few hours are going to be very, very important at this point in time. As we told our viewers, that the preparations are underway. They are trying to tap through the entire debris so that it gets stuck together and there is no untoward situation happens when eventually the drilling starts. If everything goes according to plan, then at approximately 10 p.m.
Thank you for bringing us that update. Anshul is with us on the ground, so we will keep checking in with him. I want to understand right now from the guests who are with us what has possibly led to this long term. So let's do that. We will keep checking with Anshul to get real-time updates about what's happening on the ground right now in terms of the rescue efforts. We have two guests with us right now. Vimlendu Jan, environmentalist, is with us. We also have Yashpal Sundrial, an earth scientist who's with us. Mr. Sundrial, I'm going to come over to you first. If you could explain to our audiences first the composition of this entire region, because much has been made about the very sensitive nature of the rock formations here. What does that mean? Could you explain to our audiences what are the precautions that should have been taken? Some analysts are saying that the environmental checks were also not done. Mr. Jha, I'll come to you to discuss that. But first, Mr. Sundrial, do go ahead.
Okay. Actually, frankly speaking, I had not been to that area, but I, being the professor in HNV Garhwal University, I know the local geology. The rock type we call in geology, the rock type is phyllite, and phyllite is a very weak rock over which this tunnel is being constructed. And phyllite rock, the composition of phyllite rock is mainly composed of the clay minerals, and these clay minerals have the property of the soil and pinching if they get some moisture. So the first of all, the rock type was very weak. This tunnel is supposed, I read in the newspaper that the total length of the tunnel was 4.5 kilometer long between the Silkara and Dandalgaon, and it was 2.34 kilometer completed from the side of the Silkara and 1.75 kilometer from the Dandalgaon. It means that only 500 meter was remaining to construct. And this happened, the tunnel damaged between 205 to 260 meter from the Silkara side. And now you can see that why this incident is happened. In very short, I want to tell you that when implementing agency compromise with the quality of construction, only in that case such things happens.
Okay. Mr. Sundrial, just stay with us. Vimlendu Jan, environmentalist, is also with us. Mr. Jha, you are very familiar with this region. I know that you've taken students up to this region. You've explored these regions. Can you tell us, in your experience, what have you seen when it comes to the construction that's taking place here? Tell us about that. Much has been written in criticism of the kind of development and the pace at which development is taking place in these regions. Do speak to that point, sir, and what your first thoughts were when you saw this take place.
Absolutely, Toya. So, in fact, I just witnessed this location 6 months ago as well, when the tunnel work was going on. And of course, I've been talking about it for last 9 months at least, since we've been talking about Joshimath, because we cannot look at the sinking of Joshimath or many other instances that have actually taken place in last 1 year or last couple of years in isolation. These are all connected episodes, because we're seeing Himalayas have actually been giving us enough warning for years together, and despite those warnings, despite those ecological vulnerabilities, as Professor was talking about, that we need to understand the geology and ecology of the area before plan a development project. Indeed, everyone would want to have a wider road. But, in 2021, when Ravi Chopra actually resigned from the Supreme Court appointed committee, clearly the reason was that the Supreme Court also agreed to broaden the road to 10 meters versus what was earlier 5.5 meters. So therefore, for a smoother, faster, more convenient mobility, what we have done is that we have not taken into account the kind of project that perhaps needs to be allowed in ecological fragile Himalayan zone. So we're talking about 65 tunnels. In this particular project, 66,000 trees will actually be chopped, and already chopped. 56,000 have actually been cut down in this area, in this Barkot area. That's where we actually have been doing Yamuna Yatra for the last 20 years. More than 6,000 trees have actually been chopped off. Why? Because we have a better mobility. So, we have. It's very, very important for us to understand that this project could not be looked at, or this disaster shouldn't be looked at in isolation. We've seen similar disasters. In fact, everything that actually happened in the Himalayan region this monsoon, when we've we've seen, parts of Himachal completely inundated and flooded, is because of the imagination or the lack of imagination or lack of scientific temperament in our planners.
Mr. Jha, can I just ask you, because we're on our last minute, I just want to ask you, often development is pitted against environmental good. You've seen that again and again. Tell our audiences, what does a world where both are put on the same platter equally, what does that look like? What are countries that are doing that? Tell us.
Okay, so you know what? Development and this entire facade or this argument that we have that development has to happen at the same time and we need to strike a balance. There's nothing called balance when the ecological balance of Himalayas is actually destroyed. Okay. You will never be able to balance.
Jha,
so you want
I'm so sorry, we have run out of time, unfortunately. Thank you for making that point. I'm so sorry that we've run out of time. We haven't been able to take your point in its entirety. Okay, breaking news coming in. The ECI sent a show cause notice to the Delhi Chief Minister for maligning the image reportedly of the Prime Minister through 2 tweets. We'll try to get you more details about what those tweets were. We have Aman Sharma with us right now. Aman, tell our audiences the context, please, of the show cause notice. What are the tweets in question? First, tell us, please.
Toya, the BJP had complained to the Election Commission of India on November the 10th. Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, Mr. Anil Baluni had gone to the ECI and filed a complaint against the Aam Aadmi Party. These were 2 tweets made from the official handle of the Aam Aadmi Party and got widely circulated on the social media. They were basically, the EC is saying these were malicious. These were tweets were in a way, done in a way which, they were animation, caricature and drawings and modified content, superimposing the Prime Minister with a businessman. The ECI notice says it was trying to create a narrative that the Prime Minister is supplicating or beseeching him for favors regarding a businessman. The EC is saying that such kind of tweets from the official handle of the Aam Aadmi Party are a violation of the Model Code of Conduct. The national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, has now been show-caused by the Election Commission to come and explain these statements and allegations by 16th November, which is after 2 days, on why appropriate action should not be taken for the violation of Model Code of Conduct. And basically these tweets, the ECI has now saying are a violation of the model. And one of these tweets was regarding the elections in Madhya Pradesh, which comes under the direct purview of the Election Commission, since the Model Code of Conduct is on in Madhya Pradesh. That is why the Aam Aadmi Party and its national convener have been show-caused by the ECI to come and explain this matter.
Okay, Aman, thank you for bringing us those details. 5 states, remember, seeing elections this month itself. That's all that we have for you here on the show. Thank you for staying with us through this last hour. We hope we got you just a little closer to the truth.
Gopal Rai.
Is today the very next day post Diwali, with the yesteryears, you can actually see that the AQI is not as bad as it was expected, and in fact it has somewhere or the other been better than what it was last year at this time around. Also, what we have seen that yes, there were several people who had flouted the norms and had gone ahead and busted crackers through the night on the day of Diwali. But yes, today the AQI has definitely deteriorated, but it is not as bad as it can be seen. On the other hand, we have seen a lot of politics that has already started to happen in this entire matter. The opposition leaders are already coming on record and putting blame on the BJP leaders because they were the people who instigated people to go ahead and burst these crackers. So yes, the political blame game has already started. But if you speak about the AQI has definitely deteriorated post Diwali, but it is not as bad as it was over the last many years, right after the day of Diwali. Currently, I am reporting from Akshardham Temple, where I could just show you in the visuals around here that yet again today a cloud of smog has yet again engulfed the national capital. Remember, over the weekend we saw that there were spells of rain, which meant that the AQI in the national capital had improved significantly. But post Diwali, yet again we are seeing that the AQI in the national capital has yet again deteriorated. The main reason behind this is being said to be the manner in which the norms were flouted by the residents of the national capital even after the orders of the Supreme Court, which meant that there was a blanket ban on bursting of any sort of crackers. That was flouted significantly out here in the national capital, and that is the reason why we are seeing that the AQI out here has yet again deteriorated. Over the next few days, the IMD predicts that the AQI might improve due to the wind conditions, but if you look at the longer run over the next 1 week, the AQI is yet again going to get back into the severe category, which means that it is yet again going to be a troublesome time for the people out here in the National Capital Region, where yet again they would be forced to breathe in the toxic air. Now what remains to be seen as to what new arrangements or schemes can be made by the government to make sure that the AQI remains under breathable levels, because over the past 1 week we have seen that the AQI had deteriorated, which meant that there were a lot of health issues that people of the national capital were actually facing. So the next 1 week is going to be very, very important, especially from the point of view of the Delhi government and the Delhi administration, to make sure that schemes are made and implemented in such a way that the AQI remains under control and it does not become hazardous for the people out here in the national capital.
जैसा दिल्ली सरकार ने कहा था कि फायर क्रैकर्स बंद नहीं करने, लेकिन उस हिसाब से फायर क्रैकर्स बहुत ज़्यादा जलाए गए हैं दिल्ली में। जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ वहाँ भी मेरे को बहुत देखने को मिला ये, तो मैं परेशान होकर रात को सो नहीं पाया, फिर सुबह साइकिलिंग करने निकल गया। जब से ये न्यूज़ आई थी पराली जल रही है, तो तब से मैं निकलता हूँ फील करने के लिए कि क्या वेदर में चेंज हुआ है या नहीं हुआ है, बट हुआ है चेंज।
Good evening, you're watching The Right Stand with me, Poonam Burde. It's been 39 days since Israel's war against Hamas began. Israeli Defense Forces have struck 4,300 targets till date in their attempt to obliterate the terror group. Hospitals have now become battlefields, unfortunately. Doctors have come out and cried for help for the dozens of patients, including babies who remain trapped inside. They've described the situation as being